New Zealand Courier Drivers in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand Courier Drivers in Hawke's Bay have been told if the uniforms aren't up to scratch, the company will buy replacement items at the driver's cost. A memo to drivers from a manager at the Hawke's Bay depot has been given to Checkpoint, and it explicitly tells the drivers if their uniforms aren't satisfactory, the company will unilaterally replace them, quote, at your cost. On Monday, we revealed First Union is to take legal action to determine whether courier drivers are independent contractors or employees under Section 6 of the Employment Relations Act. The measure, as we revealed on Checkpoint last week, is the real nature of the relationship between parties. And Graham Colgan, a former Chief Judge of the Employment Court, told us it's not what the contract says that matters, it's how the contractor is actually required to work.
The label is meaningless as far as the law is concerned. The law is concerned with substance rather than form.
That's Graham Colgan. Now, since we've run those stories, we've heard from more and more courier drivers telling us their working relationship with the companies they're delivering for. The recurring themes are as follows. They buy their own vehicles, but can't use them to drive for anyone else. They're called independent, but are required to work specified hours. And they're required to buy and wear the company uniform. When we saw the internal memo saying the company is going to buy replacement items at the driver's expense, we tried again to talk to Freightways about that. They declined again. But we went to their head office anyway. We are in Penrose, Auckland, and the noise you just heard, if you're listening on the radio, was a New Zealand Courier's van just driving past us, and our cameraman Nick, I think, managed, it was moving pretty fast, to get a shot of what's written on the side of the door, and it says independent contractor. Now, that's been the centre of our coverage. Here goes a Castle Parcels truck, which is another branch of the Freightways family. It's been at the centre of our coverage here on Checkpoint for the past 2 or 3 weeks. What is an independent contractor? Well, we know what they are really. So New Zealand Couriers is the firm that we've been looking at most of all. It is owned by the parent Freightways, and we are at the head office, and Freightways House is just over to the other side of us here. Most recent profit, $31.4 million. So it's a good business model. They employ drivers, mostly owner-operators. We understand the independent model, and a very large post-haste truck is just about to go past me, getting a cherry wave from the driver. Are you an independent contractor, brother?
No, I'm not.
Are you on staff?
Yes.
So the truckies are on staff?
Some of them.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. So he's on staff, he's an employee, so he gets to come to work, not buy his truck, presumably get sick leave, annual holidays and all that kind of stuff. But the independent contractors, and that is the overwhelming majority of the courier fleet, buy their vans, buy their uniforms, buy their scanners, don't get annual leave and don't get sick pay. What they do get is the opportunity to deliver packages for New Zealand Couriers. For some of them it can be quite lucrative, for others once they've paid their costs they are earning less than the minimum wage. But what we're able to identify tonight on Checkpoint also is there are some pretty stringent conditions attached, like the uniform. They buy their uniform and it is strongly policed. The Hawke's Bay branch has sent out a memo saying, and I quote, "You are part of New Zealand's premier courier company." So they're independent contractors who are part of New Zealand's independent courier company. And part of what ensures we stay that way is our image. So they're being told to look better. They're being told their uniforms aren't up to scratch. But they're also being told, and I quote, effective from Monday the 13th of August, at our discretion, which means the company has unilateral power to act, a sub-60 van just going past with independent contractor written on the side, we will automatically order at your cost the correct uniform items if you are wearing incorrect uniform items. So independent contractors are being told in a memo from New Zealand Couriers owned by Freightways that if their uniforms aren't up to scratch, the company will unilaterally order at their cost new uniforms. Is that independence, or is that starting to sound like a master-servant relationship? And at what stage does a master-servant relationship that is that capable of unilateralism become an employer-employee relationship? At what stage aren't these guys independent at all? Security Express van just giving us a nice beep as he goes by. Well, we wanted to ask the Freightways bosses that. That's why we've come here today. But they have consistently refused to talk to us. They have consistently not even responded to our approaches. These are big questions, we think, and we would love to talk to someone from Freightways about all of this. The offer remains open to Freightways, the offer remains open to PBT and all the courier companies who employ contract drivers. New Zealand Post, who are an SOE who have done that, are the only people to have spoken to us on the record about this issue.